Another day, another AI company getting sued for training on copyright material without authorization. Shocking. They've allegedly used the voice actors' audiobook recordings. ElevenLabs is a text-to-speech, speech-to-speech, dubbing, text-to-sound effects voice cloning platform that uses AI in order to create their product. You can try it for free obviously, but it costs money. They've been accused of creating voice clones that were named Bella and Adam and using them without the voice actor plaintiff's consent or compensation to promote its services. They claim that it copies their distinctive vocal timbres, accents, intonation, pacing, vocal mannerisms, and speaking styles. According to this document, they allegedly violated the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. I'm telling you guys, there's going to be a lot of lawsuits like this coming out. Personally, I am here for it. I already know we're gonna get some AI cunts in the comments being like, it's just like fair use. No, it is not just like fair use. Training a voice is kind of like copying someone when you get inspired. You know when you get inspired? No. Apparently the voice actors have learned from friends and fans that their voices have been copied. It's such a weird world we live in nowadays. I really loved your work on that ElevenLabs website. The what? In late 2023, Vacker learned from fans that ElevenLabs had digitally cloned her voice and was distributing recordings performed in her unique likeness. Believe it or not, I'm actually going to demonstrate fair use here. I'm going to play a small clip of her voice.
I was 12 when the girls started to go missing.
And here's a clip of the voice that allegedly copies her.
What do you guys think? Do you like that name?
It's pretty close. The main thing I'm noticing is the lack of low end that you would get from a proximity effect. The timbre sounds a bit different in the mid to high end. I can see where they're coming from, but maybe these aren't the best examples. The first clip seems to have more of an intimate, chill delivery style. You can actually change the settings on ElevenLabs, so that could have something to do with it. Sadly, the voice is gone. I'm not taking an educated guess that it probably has something to do with this lawsuit. But don't worry, if this isn't strong enough evidence for you, there's more coming. Apparently she's also worked as an actress on How I Met Your Mother, Chuck, Castle, Days of Our Lives. On the plus side, I mean, she probably won't get put out of that work for a while. They're using her voice without consent, pretending to be her doing her actual job, which is narrating audiobooks, that's crazy to me, that's an actual job. I'm guessing it must pay pretty well. It's confusing her friends and fans into thinking she's doing work for people that she does not even know. Now this sort of thing can apply to other mediums, such as AI generated visual art and music, but I feel like the problem here is even more apparent in a situation like this. It'd be one thing if you were using it to make a free audiobook, but using it to make something to charge for is even worse. Now obviously there is an ethical way to do AI content. If you train it off of somebody who gives you your consent, there's not really an issue with it. Now, there may be an issue with it when eventually all things are made from AI voices and AI video, but I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. AI bros support this for some reason. I don't really personally get it. You know, maybe they have not seen The Matrix, maybe they haven't seen any movie or read any book that has robots taking over. That sounds so stupid. No, but seriously, that is kind of where we're headed. Not that they're going to take over, but eventually all content could be made from this, or a large portion of it. There are several other plaintiffs as well, such as Mark Boyette, Brian Larson. ElevenLabs is apparently now valued at over $1 billion. It smells like money. That's insane. It was only founded in 2022. So it seems like there's a lot of money in AI work. I could see why these people are doing this. According to this lawsuit, they've attracted over 1 million users in their first 6 months by giving away free audio narrations narrated by their default voices, including Adam and Bella. This part cited in the lawsuit is probably not going to help ElevenLabs very much. So they explained in an early blog post that a goal was to create a text-to-speech system that would generate voice actor grade speech from any text. Okay, this is where it gets really juicy. So I was reading the lawsuit like I always do. That's a joke. A lot of times I don't, but I was just looking for more information here and I stumbled upon some pretty interesting things. So after being notified by some people that her voice sounds just like this audiobook recording, she's basically getting messages and comments in all sorts of places about it. So she looked on the ElevenLabs website and found that the Bella voice imitated her own voice. And then she reached out to ElevenLabs to demand an explanation, as you generally do, wondering how they got the voice data, and then requested they cease using her voice immediately. And then they decided to remove... Dude, they're so busted. They decided to remove it after They decided to remove it after she contacted them. So they stopped people from basically using her voice. So, you know, she thought everything was cool. Anyway, she continued to encounter many new recordings of her voice going around on the internet. Then she discovered that other third-party services, including Audi.ai, provided text-to-speech options that used the API of ElevenLabs. And this API allowed users to still select the Bella voice. Dude, they're so fucked. They're so fucked. One of the issues that people don't really understand about this too is you can take anybody's voice and make them say anything you want. Now, this could be pretty great sometimes for a meme here and there, but it can be pretty bad when you make somebody say some horrible things like, I love Hitler, or I love Busyworks Beats. So she once again reached out to them in December 2023, and they claimed that removing the API access to Bella was a technical challenge that they weren't sure that they could overcome. They did actually remove the API access to that voice on December 28th, so they could actually overcome it. And she's still finding more and more recordings of herself on the internet that she did not authorize. Then, a bunch of ElevenLabs users were unhappy that that voice was removed, so they started creating duplicates of the voice themselves on the ElevenLabs website, with names such as Rebella, Belle, and Sally. Then, believe it or not, this same thing happened with several other voice actors too. Basically, nearly the same thing, getting messages and comments from people. The ElevenLabs initially claimed that their system was trained solely on 2 public repositories of open source audiobooks, and the 2 default voices were chosen at random. And I'm gonna be honest here, I don't believe it. I don't believe what they're saying at all. They are claiming that this Adam voice though was randomly generated. Maybe they learned after the Bella incident. Maybe we should not take it down because that makes us look like we did it. There's a bunch of information here about how text-to-speech models are made. Honestly, really boring, and I can't really give a fuck. It's it's a lawsuit. It gets pretty hairy here, and I'm not a big fan of hair personally. Does that sound sus? There's not a lot of precedent for AI lawsuits due to the lack of laws and regulations surrounding this new technology. They've requested a jury trial, which if it gets to that point, may actually help them in this case. It would require 12 people to agree that AI is bad. Who would be on the jury though? It's hard to say. It could be anyone on that jury. It could be Scooby-Doo, Scrappy-Doo, Shaggy. It could work out in the voice actor's favor, especially if they have some damning audio examples. In my opinion, I would assume most regular people are against AI-generated art and materials. Side note, this is not the first time ElevenLabs has been in trouble. There was a deep-faked audio recording of Joe Biden that was used to trick somewhere between 5,000 to 25,000 New Hampshire voters. And you wouldn't guess it, but the voice recording was made with ElevenLabs. Where do you stand on this issue? Personally, I could sacrifice some memes to just wipe out this whole AI shit. It's just getting out of hand. It can create some funny memes sometimes, but at a certain point, it's just taking other people's work and copying them. And I really think the argument of saying, well, it's just like someone being inspired on the guitar and playing something similar. Well, at least that has some sort of real human input, and it can't just be duplicated on a one-to-one basis over and over and over without much error. I'm not saying all AI is bad, but I'm saying that it needs to be regulated. There's definitely an issue going on, and it's kind of ignorant to pretend otherwise. If you enjoyed this video, press the like button, and I promise not to clone your voice. I mean, legally I can, apparently, at this point. But if I want to, I can. So, you should press the like button, otherwise I'm going to do it. Subscribe if you're new here. I post videos like this almost every single day. If you want to support the channel, consider joining my Patreon or becoming a channel member. For as low as $5 a month, you get access to exclusive content, outtakes, and other goodies. I'll see you guys next time.